Hello everyone, this is Tim, and this is the first in my series of how to make interactive manuals. So today we're going to be working on a very simple one, shouldn't take very long. We're just going to do one of the ones that needs to play sounds. So the next one on the list is audio keypad, and here is where the alternative manuals will appear, but there aren't any yet. Also, you may notice that my address is a little weird. It doesn't look like this, as you might expect. It's because I'm running a local um, copy of KTaNE Web, which is the program that runs the website, that delivers the website when you go to this address. There's this program running behind the scenes. So I find it really helpful when making interactive manuals to have a copy of this running locally, like it is right here. And you'll see why later on. So there's information on TimWee's repository on that. So first of all, we opened up the manual. So as you can see here, there are 12 sounds that we're going to need to put into this manual in the form of play buttons, probably right here next to the text. We're going to base it on other audio manuals. Let's see. So if we go to, if we go to this one, my interactive version of this, I'm just going to put the play buttons right next to the name of the tracks. Those are really loud. So that's what we're going to try to do with this. It'll be fairly simple. First thing you need to do is download the source code of the module, if possible, which is, for the most part, most modules have their source code available, because the audio is going to be in this package and you can just take it right from that and use it for your manual. So I've already downloaded it. Audio Keypad Master right here. Let's take a look inside it. Assets. See, audio. Yep, that's nice and convenient. Yep, here they all are. Looks like there's 15 of them, and we only needed 12 of them, so some of them are not used. So all we really need is these guys. Let's see if we can sort by type here. Let's just copy these guys. And let's put them where they're going to need to go, right here. There's not yet one for this, of course, because this is the first time this module has had this manual has had an interactive audio keypad. So this is a clone of the KTaNE content repo. It's another repo that you'll need to probably need to have if you're going to do this, but you don't really need a copy of the whole thing. I've included in the video description a link to this. It's a small grouping of interactive manuals and the JavaScript, icons, CSS, font, stuff like that, the SVGs and everything, and other images that are needed for those manuals that are in this folder. So you don't want to clone the whole repository. You can just work off of this set view here. Here's some common interactives that can be helpful in basing your code off of. So yeah, you can work right in there if you don't want to clone the whole thing. I use the whole KTaNE content repo all the time, so I just have the whole thing cloned. So now that we have this, let's copy here, paste there, and okay, there we go. So we'll take a look at this YouTube playlist here. So that one's keep talking. This one's wait. Okay. So let's see. I didn't see one called this one. I don't see 0.01 seconds on this list, so I don't think that one's used. But I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and figure out which 12 of these 15 are needed and skip over that work for you guys. Okay, so I've narrowed it down to these 12. These are the ones that the names match what are in the manual. So we're going to go ahead and modify the name of this one so that it matches the name of that track right there. We want to make sure that the file names match with what it says in the table cells, and I'll show you why in a minute. We're also going to get rid of spaces, just make things a little easier. There. Now all of these should match in name with these track names here. All right, one of the things to note when making an interactive manual is that you should probably know the module that you're making a manual for. And, you know, in some cases, you don't actually have to. I made the termite interactive manual without actually knowing how to solve the module. Someone just told me what it needed. You know, it needed to have the grid from Game of Life Interactive. So, you know, I talked to them about it, and then I didn't actually need to know how to solve the module to make it. For audio manuals, really, you don't really need to know. You know, if like you have if you're sure about what all the sounds are, then you can just make it. You don't even really need to know how to do it. This one's pretty easy though, to know what to do. And now that we've got that all ready, we can go ahead and start making the actual thing. One of the things that's paramount in making an interactive manual is following what others have done. A lot of my code is based on SamFundDev's code for interactive manuals. And you can see right here, given some credit for that here, and especially the audio stuff. I mean, that's like straight from Listening Interactive. So we're going to be using that same code, and I'll explain what it all does. Probably not this one. We'll see if we can use this one instead, because it's very simple. It's just going to be like exactly what this one does. First thing we do is we find it. There we go, audio keypad, copy paste. And there we go, we've got a new one. And this will be the interactive. Put your name in parentheses as you want it to appear on the repo. Drop it in your favorite text editor. This is Atom, the text editor called Atom. I love it. Visual Studio Code, also very good. Notepad++ is okay for HTML. It's not the best. It's good for a lot of things, but I don't really like it for HTML. So here is the audio keypad manual. This is the new one that we just created. And so right away, what we're going to need is jQuery. jQuery is a library of a JavaScript library that allows you to do fancy JavaScript things such as this. It allows you to just say, hey, take all of the matching HTML elements that are table header and the nth child of that, or something like that. You know, it's very convenient to be able to do this. And you can also do things like this, where it just says, hey, as soon as the page loads, run this code. So I'll show you how nice it is, especially in the future of this series where we go into more actually interactive manuals that are not just playing sounds. You'll see how cool jQuery is. So first of all, I'm just going to take all of this. Actually, we're going to need the script headers too. I'm going to plop it right there. Okay. So suppose we can get to this. So in the spelling bee backwards manual, there are 4 columns. I'm going to walk through this step by step here. So you can see there are 4 columns of sounds. We only need 2 columns of sounds here. And that's what this is doing right here. It's saying find the table headers, the first, second, third, and fourth table headers. In this case, there are exactly 4 columns, and they're all table headers, and I'll show you what that's about in a minute. In this case, there are, in our audio keypad case, there are 4 columns, but only 2 of them are actually the names of the tracks, where we're going to be inserting the play buttons. And so that would be the column 1 and column 3. So we can actually get rid of the column 2 stuff and the column 4 stuff and just say, hey, find me all first column table headers and all third column table headers. And for each of those, we're going to execute this code. This is an inline function declaration here. So, and it says here's starting brace, ending brace is down here. You can see it's highlighted with a blue underline because of Atom. And so it says for each of all of the stuff that matches this, you're going to do all of this. So hence jQuery, that's what it does. It queries the HTML code, that's this stuff down here in the body. And it says, find me the stuff that matches this and then do this. So first thing, it says we're going to name a variable lm for this. This is a special keyword that points to one of the objects that matched. So this is basically going to return an array of things that matched these criteria. And then it says for each of them do this. And then what you end up with is a silent this object. It's an object that you get for free when you're executing the code inside of here. And it points to the current thing of all of the things that matched these criteria. So so for each of the ones that matched, you're going to do all of this stuff. This is pointing to a particular one of them that we're operating on, one at a time, not all of them at once. It'll do them one at a time. And so this one says, all right, just give me a variable called lm, so we don't have to keep doing $ parentheses this all the time. It's easier to just say lm. And so when you do something like this, it says create a new element audio. So you'll see like there are tags like TD and there are tags like table. Well, there's also an audio tag. And so this says go ahead and create one of those. It'll also automatically create the closing tag, the one that has the slash in it. You don't need to worry about that. And we're going to call it audio. And you notice there's no semicolon because we're not done. We're going to do more things to it. So as we're creating it here, we're also going to say, okay, when this audio element has an error, you're going to run this code. You're going to add the failed class to the button. And what is the button? Well, it's actually defined down here. And through the magic of how JavaScript works, you can see down here the button actually gets prepended to a lem, and this audio element is going to get appended to a lem. So it's going to have access to the button that is actually not created until here, but that's okay, because this code isn't going to be run immediately. Otherwise, it wouldn't work because the button hadn't been created yet in the code. You can see it. This goes chronologically, but it doesn't matter because this button will exist by the time that this code is run. Just this little inner part here, if there's an error. So we're going to add on this code that happens on error. This one says take the attribute source. So audio tags have a source attribute. And what we're going to do is add on this text. This is incorrect for this module. It's called audio keypad is the name of the folder that we put that stuff in. Yeah. So you can see HTML, audio keypad, HTML, audio keypad. So it's going to this folder where the audio files are. These are going to be MP3s, not waves. Right? Yep, these are all MP3s, including that one. This is some fancy regex, regular expression that says please remove all spaces, white space in general, so tabs and spaces and other things that are white space, and replace them with nothing. This is a string containing nothing. So it's some fancy regular expression code that says remove all spaces from the name of from the string alem.text. So because we are matching table header things here, and we don't actually have any table headers, these are all TDs, but we can change that in a minute. Okay, so this is going to be, and you know what, we're going to have to change these to TDs because the THs are going to be this top row here. So generally what you do is you put the top row or anything that you want bolded and centered as TH, and then these are all, and then everything else in the table is going to be TD. I'll show you. But the way that they implemented this was actually not to use table header or TH. I assume that's what TH stands for. But they did a bolded text inside of a TD. That's okay. We can change it. This is our manual that we're making. So we're going to go ahead and look for all of those. There's only 4. Good. We're going to change them all to TH and no bold. And then we're going to look for all of these. And we're going to change that to close TH. Boom. Okay. So now this should still look exactly the same, except that it'll be centered now, I think. So here's the general process for when we're iterating through gradually building up our new manual. So you have, let's open it up. Okay, yeah, it started to apply the code already. I didn't mean for it to do that, but that's okay. It probably has some errors too. But you notice that they're still bolded, even though I took out the bold. So what we're gonna do is change this to query the TDs instead. And so it's gonna look for all of these guys. And this is the only table on the page, so we're good. We don't need to specify anything more specific than just find all of the TDs. And so what it's gonna do is it's gonna find all the TDs, the first column ones and the third column ones, and it's gonna find the text in those cells. So that would be this text and then this text, not that one, because this one is not the first or the third. We specifically said the first or the third. Yep. So it's going to find the text that's in there. It's going to get rid of all the white space in it, and it's going to add .mp3, and that is going to be the name. And then it's going to add this path, the path to the file, the name of the file, and then .mp3, and that's going to be attached to the source attribute on the audio element. So if we inspect this page, we will find, yeah, see, there's this floating audio element here that has a source of this. It's called track name because I told it to search for the TH elements, and it found those two. There were only 2 that matched first and third column. And so it assembled this. This is what the JavaScript did. You know, this isn't code that I typed anywhere. This is code that was assembled by the JavaScript, HTML code assembled by the JavaScript. So it's an audio element. It has this as the source, and then it's automatically closed. And of course it doesn't work right now because there is no thing called this, and that's why they're red, because there's an error. And let me show you. Oh, we didn't do it yet. We're going to want all of this stuff too. Oh, and that. Yeah, we're going to need all of this style sheet stuff, which I will explain. Okay. Do a refresh on this, and boom. Oh, we've got that extra one there. Don't worry about that one. So there we go. Without even understanding what this code did, look, it automatically inserted all of the play buttons, and you notice they all have errors. And we will find out. Oh, okay. Well, they do work. How about that? They're all red though, so we'll have to figure out why that is in a minute here. Let's see if we have any errors. No, it doesn't look like it. So, on failed, color red. This is not failed, not playing. So yeah, you hover over it and it should go yellow. And it should be white. Let's take a look at listening. Oh yeah, okay. Gotta update that. I'm just gonna go ahead and update that right now. Let's see if that fixes that. Yep, now they're all white. Cool. And then they're yellow when you hover over them.
Nice idiom.
And they're green while they're playing.
Nice idiom.
So that should be the case for this one as well. Not that one. The interactive one. So let's go ahead and use KTaNE Web here. We've added a new HTML. You can see here. Yeah, we added all of these files, and we added this new file here. This is our new interactive. KTaNE, the local copy of KTaNE Web doesn't know about it yet, so I ran it again, and now it should show up. If I refresh this and look for audio, there you go. It automatically shows up onto the list. It's not on the website yet. It's only on my local copy of KTaNE Web, this local version of the website, but there it is. It shows up now. I don't even need to open the file. I can just use the website to open it. So that's the original one. We'll keep that open. We're not actually going to need this line here. We're going to change it. Here's some text from the listening interactive that will be useful for us. We don't need this link to this soundtrack anymore. We can just say press the play button. Right. So that should be good enough. I'll go back here and refresh. And there we go. It says press the play button to play the corresponding track, press it again to stop. That little underline is a little weird. Let's take a look. Listening interactive. Does this one have an underline as well? It does. Okay, well, we won't worry about it for now then. Okay. Oh, in fact, he wanted it underlined. It's underlined right here. I'm not sure I want that in mine. I'm thinking I don't want that. That's up to you when you make yours if you want to change stuff. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so these all actually work now, and I'll show you why. Now you notice I didn't have to touch anything down here. I mean, I changed these to be THs so they wouldn't be affected by the JavaScript because it's only looking for the TDs. But, I mean, we're essentially done now. Let's take a look. All right, so let me just walk you through what's going on with the rest of the code here. So that we talked about this. The audio element on ended, there's events that happen within audio elements. Error, this happens. On the ended event, we're going to remove the playing class. And as you can see here, the playing class makes it a green color. You can see it's mostly green with a little bit of red and blue there just to make it a light green, like a whitish green. And this one's yellow and that one's red. So that's what happens there. And then we attach it to the element so that if you take a look here, yeah, you can see the this TD here, this table cell right here is the element. That's the this object. That's the this object because it says find me a TD, and stop there at that level in the hierarchy. And so that's going to end up being the LM. So when it says append this to the LM, you can see here's the TD, and right there's the audio. It gets added on, and then here is the actual button. It's an A object, not a button object, but it functions like a button because it has a click event and everything. So check it out. We're going to make a button, but we're not actually using the button element. We're using the A element, and we talked about that. And so click can both simulate a click and also tell you what to do on a click if you put something inside the parentheses. So we've put something inside the parentheses. So what it's saying is when this object is clicked, we're going to do something. So it acts like a button now because it has a click event. So you can see it has the class play button. That doesn't actually do anything in this particular case because all of the style things are handled by the A. So it just so happens that all A elements on this page, because the only ones we're using are the buttons. So we can just go ahead and say that all A elements on the page, whether in dark mode or not, will be all of this stuff. You don't need to worry about most of it. This is the thing that makes it a blue background. This border radius 50% makes it a circular blue background and not a square blue background. And this says how big it is. This says that that triangle symbol is going to be in the center of the object. Things like that. We give it the monospace font so that this triangle will show up exactly the way we want it. So when you click the button, we're going to say if it has class playing, which nothing so far has added the class playing. We've only removed it up here once it's ended, which turns it from green back to white again because it defaults to white. You can see right here, the triangle defaults to white. When it's playing, it's green. When you hover over it, it's yellow, and then when it's failed, it's red. So I can simulate the failed thing right now. So we'll say also find the third th element in every column, and we only have 4 th elements on the whole document. So this one's going to be the third one. So when we refresh, there you go. It's inserted a play button there, and you can see our cursor turns into the what is it? The not allowed cursor, and then the triangle is red. So that's so now it says yeah, a dot failed. The cursor is going to be this. The color is going to be red. So, but we obviously don't want that. I just wanted to show you what happens when it appends the. So it automatically got the error event and it appended the failed on it. So yeah, if it has the class playing, meaning the audio is playing, then we're going to remove the class playing. So this is if you've clicked the button while it's playing, it's going to remove the class playing. It's going to pause the audio. It's going to set the current time of the playback to 0, and that's it. And then otherwise, and this, you don't need to worry too much about this. This is a thing that returns a value back to the click function that says whether or not the click should, like do other things, like whether or not other objects behind it should be clicked and things like that. But I'll talk more about that in other tutorials. So otherwise, if you've clicked the button and it's not currently playing, then it's going to play, and it's going to add the class playing, which turns it from white to green because of this right here. Okay, and that's it. That's everything. So the other thing I'm going to do before I submit this, let me refresh the page here. Yeah. First of all, I'm going to make sure that these work, that these are in fact the right songs. We can do that pretty easy by pulling up a whole bunch of audio keypads. And the other thing I want to do is, these are all really long pieces of audio.
All available experts, please report to room A9.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah. So you can see they're all over a minute, and we really only need like 20 seconds each. So let's see what we got. 49 megabytes. Yeah, we don't need to add 49 megabytes to the repository for this interactive manual. I mean, we really only need like 15 seconds of each one because they're all fairly unique. That one has a little bit of similarity. That one's very unique after a few seconds. This one is just kind of hisses for a long time. Yeah, so there's some that sound a little bit similar, but still. The thing about them is that they sound like that throughout their entire track, so it's like there's no point really in keeping them all as long as they are. It's just adding extra wasted size file sizes to the repo. So let's see here. You guys can hear that, right? So, nope. That one.
Emergency cleared. All personnel, please return to your stations.
He had defeated the machine.
Yep. What were the options on that one? Star, pitchfork, M. Nope. That's the one.
He had defeated the machine.
So yeah, it works. That's this one, right? Yeah.
He had defeated the machine.
Cool, so it works. And so other people, you know, who are better at describing what these sounds sound like can probably help me in the future describing these better. Like it would be a good thing to put in a manual like this, is in parentheses underneath here, like what the sound sounds like, you know, so that you don't have to click every one to find what your diffuser's talking about, unless you're doing it on Twitch Plays, and then you just click them until you find it. But this one is like, oh, it's the elevator music when you're in the lobby and waiting for, you know, to play a game. You know, and if you know what they all are, you know, it's like, oh, it's the one you hear when this happens in the game, you know. But yeah, it would be good to actually, you know, describe it, like, oh, you've got like quiet horns, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it suddenly gets much more intense with some cymbals and stuff. So it would be good to add some descriptions to each of these, but I'm not going to do that right now. Other people can help me do that. But yeah, what I am going to do is show you, because I've had to edit audio for other things. So I might as well show you how I do it, because it's part of making contributions to the KTaNE repo, is editing audio. You guys can hear that, right? So yeah, so as you can hear, it's pretty much the same throughout. So yeah, we really don't need more than like this much of it. You know, I'll consider doing it out to 20 seconds. You really don't need more than. Let's call it right there. And we'll fade out. Yeah, we definitely have to keep the beginning of all of them. So there we go. So let's make a place for these new ones to go. Call it big, because the original ones are big, and we're trying to make them smaller. So this one, we will export. And yep, we don't need extreme or insane, just regular maximum 210 kilobytes per second should be just fine. Contain content, HTML audio, audio keypad. Boom. Yep, do it. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and trim the rest of these. And I'll come back when I'm done with that. All right, so that's done now. You can see here I've got them all, you know, over 15 to 20 seconds. Except for that one, I decided to make 30 just in case it was ambiguous until later on in the audio, but I don't really think so. So we went from 49 megabytes down to 4.7. It's pretty good. That's a reduction by a factor of 10. It's much better for uploading on the repo. Try to avoid big files. So that's pretty much it. This looks ready to go. It already shows up. As I see, I ran KTaNE web and it didn't break anything. There were no errors or anything here. And we already know it shows up here. So we can look over here and yeah, we fixed that thing. This is pretty much ready to go now. I can't think of any special features or anything else that this will need. In fact, all of my other tutorials on how to make interactive manuals will be much more difficult. You know, there'll be some planning, and we'll have to figure out some things on how to, you know, how we get the JavaScript to do what we want. This was pretty easy. We just already had the code ready to go that did everything we needed, and we just changed a couple of things. Most of them, in fact, all the rest of them will not be so simple. I'll have to actually talk more about how the JavaScript interacts with the HTML code, and that will be much more interesting. There is one more thing we need to do before we can submit this. We have to make sure that it passes linting. And the way we do that in our KTaNE community is to DM logbot. So we will drop that file right into a DM with logbot and type !lint. And we'll see if there's anything else we need to do. Nope. Gave us the thumbs up. We are all good to submit this as is. It's a nice way to get started on making interactive manuals. A nice, easy one. Took us no time at all. All right, see you in the next video.